Hello, welcome to the Badly Framed Special Moves bonus podcast. We're going to be talking about a couple of film trailers and stuff that we've seen in the last week. I can't remember, when was the Avengers trailer? That was a while ago, wasn't it?
I don't know because I've not watched that one.
You've not seen it?
No, I'm on full like lockdown.
It was like 2 weeks ago or something, wasn't it? I think
it was when tickets went live.
Yeah.
So we're one of them channels now. We're talking about.
We're gonna get a trailer in like up here, like in the middle here, and we'll look like this.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm gonna cry. Oh my god, you guys.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That laugh. Fuck. Go back.
Yeah. Take my glasses off.
Anyway, so we actually recorded this bonus podcast already.
Yeah.
And lost it, and it was really good.
Do you know what? We'll say we lost it. I just keep it blameless.
So if you know, you know what that means already, don't you? But let's not say it. Just go there.
But just because I said that, I don't want you to think it was me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that's true. I edit the podcast normally, don't I? So what it was.
These are the facts.
I can't remember what we were talking about. I felt like it was a good one.
It was.
And this one's going to be mostly about just two things, and it's Avengers and Star Wars, isn't it? So we better just get on with it.
It's a bad thing.
Well, no, it's not. When has the bonus podcast been about, including the Lost podcast? When has that been about anything that we planned it on being?
It just spirals.
You know what I mean? It does spiral. Yeah.
So if you don't like Star Wars and you don't like the Avengers, well, maybe there's something.
I don't
in it for
either, but we're gonna get through it anyway. Nah, it's not. I don't like them anyway. I'm just not mad on them. I like them, but I don't love them. And I've got to say, as somebody who's not as excited about either of them, and when I say it's nice that they're coming to an end, by the way, I don't mean fuck for that.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I've watched it casually.
Yeah.
And you can't deny they've built it up like in a really nice way. It's looking really cool how both of them. It's going to be hard to talk about them in duality, so let's just talk about Star Wars because chronologically, that's the most. Well, not chronologically, but that's the most recent one.
Yeah.
So Star Wars is like interesting for me because I'm not really that into it. But what I love about Star Wars, and it's the most impressive thing about Star Wars, is that unlike every other huge franchise, it's like even rolling as close to that. We're talking Game of Thrones, we're talking Lord of the Rings, and we're talking like Avengers or Marvel. They're all based on source material. Star Wars isn't.
Cinematic source, isn't it?
And it's managed to build up a huge following and like a huge IP with just, at this point, 8 films. So I mean, it has been supplemented by like TV shows, games, comic book merchandise.
I think I was very concerned when Disney got it, and I was like, oh fuck, they're gonna Marvel this up. It makes more sense in Marvel for me because there are shitloads of comics. But it would make more sense for them to. And I've been a bit cynical about superhero films, but I do enjoy them. But this is like, I didn't like the idea of there being a Star Wars film every year, like that, because Star Wars, like, just from when I was a kid, for me, it just felt more like a thing that happened 8 years ago when my mum was a kid, and and she was the one who got me onto Star Wars.
Right.
And so she saw this trilogy, and then when the prequels were coming, I was like, "Fuck, I get a trilogy as well." And it's like, so then there was a new, so there's a new sort of generation coming, except they were going, "There's going to be one every single year." I was like, do you know, if it was another trilogy, all right, maybe, but but it's sort of, I think they have sort of acknowledged that they are going to sort of stall out a little bit, aren't they? Yeah. And they're not going to be pumping them out.
The CEO of Disney said after episode 9 they're going to go on a bit of a break.
Which I hope that doesn't just mean 1 year. I hope that means
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Well, what else have they got in the work? They've got the trilogy by Rian Johnson, which is like his own separate, distinct thing. They've got, I think it's a TV show,
The Mandalorian, or whatever.
They've got The Mandalorian, but then they've got another. I'm not sure if it's a show or a trilogy of movies, but it's done by the Game of Thrones guys.
Oh yeah. D&D.
Yeah, Weinhoff and Weiss, or whatever they're called.
That's it. Yeah.
They've got a Star Wars thing in the works.
Yeah.
Which is an awful lot of Star Wars to watch, right? And I'm saying that as someone who just fucking loves Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
So I think that I'm looking forward to a break in the sense that I hope, like John Boyega and Daisy Ridley and all, they're like fucking, they're very big.
Something else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're very big and famous now. They have been doing other stuff. John Boyega's done some cool stuff. Anyway, I've not really seen Daisy Ridley do much stuff. And Oscar Isaac is Oscar
She
Isaac.
was in Murder on the Orient Express.
Oh yeah, sure. Which was
she was like,
I forgot I even watched it. Yeah.
It's not a very good film, the remake of Orient Express, but
it was but John Boyega's been in some good stuff, and then Oscar Isaac is he's actually one of my favorite actors.
He's one of the best working actors today.
Yeah, and I love his character in Star Wars. Absolutely. So as for the trailer and how it's sort of shaping up and stuff, I think I'm not a big trailer person, really. Like, do you guys watch a lot of trailers? I think you do, don't you? Mm-hmm. Like,
yeah. I mean,
I think I watch a few horror. Like, it depends what it is.
Yeah, they seem to get trailed.
But the thing is, right? What was the film, right? Where it was quite recent, and it was like the guy who's got a family and he's in a cabin and he can't go outside, and they can't go outside, and then he horror film. No. Before that. And it seemed like it would be a house, but it seems like a cabin in the woods sort of house.
The Dark, the A24 film, not Hold the Dark. No, I know what you mean.
It Comes at Night.
It comes at night. That's it. Yeah, it comes at night.
It comes at night, and the trailer for that was far better than the film. So I was so ready.
You could argue there was a case of mismarketing.
Yeah,
which
definitely.
is weird because previous one was The Witch, and that's exactly the same thing. It's complete mismarketing.
Yeah, although I really enjoyed The Witch, but
I enjoyed It Comes at Night.
I probably would have. I
enjoyed The Witch as well.
I probably would have liked it if I hadn't watched the trailer, which is I was the film that I was
even the
sold.
The title is a bit misleading as well.
It's. I can sort of see why they went for it, but so anyway, the point is, I don't really like to watch trailers because I don't like set expectations. Not to just go like, I think this film's going to be the best film I've ever seen, but just for what you sort of think it's going to be. For what type of film it's going to be. So I don't like to do that, except for Star Wars, really. And I did watch the Avengers one, just because
I haven't seen the most recent Avengers one.
Yeah, because for spoiler reasons for you, right?
Yeah, it's just. Yeah, I don't know. I'm being a bit.
You've only got like a week.
I'm preempting a bit too much, but I don't know. This is big for me. Yeah. I'll probably take headphones to the cinema lobby and just sit there until I have time to go in,
Because people might spoil it.
Yeah, because you'll get people coming out who, and it's by no fault of their own, they'll be so excited about what they've just seen. And because I'm not going to like the 8:00 showing of the Avengers, there's going to be people who obviously coming out of showings and they're going to be talking about it.
Yeah.
Because their minds are going to be blown because it's going to be so good.
Exactly. So I am honestly going to take some headphones with me and just wait.
I don't even know how you begin to make a film like that. Like how you have so many people.
Starts off with a lot of money, doesn't it?
But this is why people were criticizing The Force Awakens and stuff a lot, and it was like because it was following this really similar beats to the original Star Wars.
Oh right, yeah,
true.
Right.
And it was like, but how did you begin? Like for Star Wars, it's like there's not just like an audience. There's like everyone, like the whole spectrum of people who like Star Wars, from like older grown-up parents, possibly grandparents at this point, to definitely grandparents at this point, to very young kids, right? Yeah. It means so many different things to a lot of people. To a lot of people, it's their favorite thing ever. You either love it or you hate it with Star Wars, but the people who like it tend to fucking think it's the best thing.
I think that's how do you start is very easy if you're the same writer who did the original one, because you can just fuck those people off. Like I started
like George Lucas.
Exactly. He did it easily, didn't he? And look how that worked out. But you can either take that mentality, or you have to be like J.J. Abrams, and I guess like the fan service. I guess it was.
And
it was overly safe. That I thought
I didn't think it was overly safe.
I remember watching it. Like I hadn't seen Star Wars 4, which is the first Star Wars, right? New Hope, yeah.
Yeah. Not in no. That's funny, but not in the first Purge kind of way. It just was the fourth one. Was the first
right?
one. Yeah, it's the opposite to the Purge, because it's like the first Purge going, this is the fourth Purge.
Yeah, exactly. No, so I watched that like 2 days for the first time before I saw Force Awakens, and I was like, that's the same thing.
Yeah.
I didn't need to read a Reddit article telling me. I saw it myself, and I was like, well, what do Star Wars fans think? Because, my opinion doesn't matter.
But I fucking loved it.
And everyone liked it. Yeah, Star Wars fans loved it. So
it was like, I went to a midnight screening and stuff. But this is because, that's what I mean. Like the expectation was so, I don't know what I was expecting. I was just very happy that there was a Star Wars film.
Yeah, I went in completely blank because it had been so long since a Star Wars film.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting anything.
I mean,
Force Awakens.
And the last 3 Star Wars films,
well,
what I believe were pretty shit. Yeah, I watched Phantom Menace, by the way.
Yeah.
They get a bad rap, the prequels, but they're really not that bad.
Oh.
I don't know. I think it was alright.
Yeah, so Phantom Menace is alright.
But I was a kid,
of the Clones is a bit
Qui-Gon Jinn looked good, didn't he? Like, he was cool.
All right, there's a lot to process there. So I'm just going to say...
Revenge of the Sith was good.
Yeah.
It was.
I haven't seen
it
because it has to be good for all those memes.
No, it's a weird one. It's a weird one. I think it just depends. Like it depends how you lived through it and stuff like that. And if you were even, so I was. So if you're an adult and you were like a kid when the originals came out and you watched the prequels are the worst thing you've ever seen in your life. But then if you're like me, where you were a kid, like I'm in a weird place where I watched the originals when I was like 6, 7. First films that I genuinely really like loved and really thought fucking hell I like sci-fi, I like space and stuff like like a life-changing film that you really like, and then so I watched the prequels and I liked them when I was a kid because that was like my sort of Star Wars. But then I watch it back and it's like the first half of the Phantom Menace.
The joy and wonder of being a child erased from your body.
Exactly. Yeah. But then I'm watching the Phantom Menace. It's like, why? What the fucking trade embargoes? What are you talking about? And it's like really wooden Shakespearean acting, and it's like, what the fuck is this? But then when you watch the original trilogy, it's a lot more like ragtag and like Guardians of the Galaxy sort of relatable, where they're just not, the old man is an old man, Han Solo's a completely different person. Whereas everyone is like Obi-Wan Kenobi in the original trilogies. In the original trilogy, Alec Guinness, every character is Alec Guinness in the prequels. Every character is like that fucking wisdom and this was the olden times.
I remember there being like a lot of like regality to like
there is
apart from Jar Jar Binks.
Chancellor Valorum, who's that?
It sounds like a flower that was growing.
It's a fucking key character in it.
Chancellor Valorum sounds like a Witcher 3 flower, isn't it? Alchemy points +5 straight away.
But when I was a kid, if someone would have said, "Can you point out Chancellor Valorum to me?" Then like,
no kid is excited to get their Star Wars Episode 1 Phantom Menace sticker book completed because
exactly.
I've got the Chancellor Valorum sticker.
Yeah, you've just got a booster pack. So like, fucking give me Darth Maul.
Chancellor Valorum.
Chancellor Valorum. Show me an equivalent to Chancellor Valorum in the original trilogy. There isn't one because they're all class, right? Even the Imperial officers, they're just like Nazi space commanders.
Yeah.
And they get choked to death because they're shit at their job. Darth Vader's got no fucking time for these people. He's like, fucking... Imagine, right, if Darth Maul chopped Chancellor Valorum in half. Now we're in business, right? Now we've got a memorable film.
Now he's 2 stickers.
Yes. So, I've got some complicated feelings about that. But I was... So when I went to watch The Force Awakens, I was like... what I was feeling was, I'm excited about this, and I feel pretty good that it's going to be a good film. I feel, I wasn't like thinking this is going to be the best film I've ever seen, but I had like, there's a good chance I could be about to watch a good Star Wars film here, and I haven't seen one. I have never seen one live in the cinema because, do you know what I mean? So exactly, The Phantom Menace was like, people were coming out and it's like one of the biggest disappointments in cinematic history and stuff, and then the Revenge of the Sith was like, it's good, it's all right. It's all right. That's the third one.
All right. Yeah.
And then Attack of the Clones is like a complete write-off for a lot of people because it's just...
I don't know,
the sand is coarse, that line.
It's rough.
Watch, Jake.
It's rough and irritating and it gets everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm going to... I said I was going to watch all of them before I watched this last one. And like, Sean's just like, no, you're not. No, you won't. I'm not fucking what? What do you mean I won't?
I've done that a few times. I think I did that before Force Awakens.
But why haven't I done it up until this point?
I did it.
There's something that's got to give, hasn't it? I've seen, like, the new ones are good, I think. They're good watching.
Yeah, no, they are.
It's a superhero film, like, you just watch it and you go, it's good.
The Last Jedi,
Solo was a bit shit, actually.
Solo was a bit shit. And The Last Jedi,
I was very forgiving of Solo, actually. I don't mind it.
Well,
it's a bit slow in the beginning.
And the dialogue is absolutely trash.
It's a bit smarmy at times for dialogue.
The bit in like the sewers at the beginning when they were all like just explaining what's happening is weird. And there's a good bit like that moving train thing, like going, I don't know. Rogue One, I liked it though.
Rogue One's good.
I enjoyed that.
I rewatched that that's the last one I've actually watched. I rewatched it recently, and it was Yeah, it's okay, and it's got a fucking great space battle in it, and then the way they bring the old pilots in, the old that's
Rogue Squadron.
What a nice touch that was. I love that. But then, I think the Last Jedi was I've only seen it once, right? So I should probably rewatch that.
I've seen it 3 times, I think.
Okay, so that's obviously the last mainline one that we've had.
Yeah.
That's what it's called, right?
Last Jedi, yeah.
But yeah, I came out of that and I was like, oh, this is... And I watched that at midnight as well. I
went opening night, but not the midnight show.
Yeah. I actually went and watched the double bill. I watched The Force Awakens.
Oh, yeah.
And so I went with my mate and watched that. And it was... I went because he asked me to go and I was like, you know what, that sounds awesome. And I went and then... But...
I wonder if they're going to do that with the,
well, you can put Last Jedi
7, 8, and then 9 for this one.
Have you seen what? I can't remember where. There's a cinema chain in America that's doing all 23 Marvel movies in a marathon leading up to Endgame.
That's torture.
It's something like 50 hours.
I was going to say, they're all like 2 hours a piece.
Yeah. That's a job, that, mate.
That's for charity. Like, you can get that.
And they were saying, like, you feel free to bring, like, pillows and sleeping bags and stuff. Yeah. So you can, like, sleep through the
shit ones.
Yeah, like, no one cares about the dark world.
And an adult diaper. Jesus.
So,
So, I think...
You're going to go and see this one at midnight?
I might do.
You've done the other 2. You might as well at this point.
Well,
it sounds good if you can say you've seen them all 3 of them, doesn't it? It's a story to tell.
Tell your grandkids, yeah. I was
great
there.
Story, was it? That's,
well, no.
And I was quite disappointed the last one I went to see. There was no... For The Force Awakens, there was all sorts of shit going on. Like, proper, like, carnivals, people dressed up and that.
Well, yeah.
And then The Last Jedi, it just wasn't like that.
So, there's like this might be interesting to some people, I guess, because like, it's really common knowledge to us. But so obviously we live in North Wales, yeah, so, like... I don't know who do you know from North Wales apart from us exactly, but like one of the guys who plays like the body of Darth Vader, Spencer Wilden, yeah, he's from North Wales.
Yeah.
So like every opportunity for him to rock up in his Darth Vader costume, like his official, like the set costume as Darth Vader, fucking he does. And like in Darth Vader's in The Last Jedi for a little bit, isn't he? It's not his voice. It's not the guy that.
He's the physical actor.
Yeah, he's literally the guy behind the mask. So technically, he's in Last Jedi.
At the end of Rogue One with Darth Vader, that was Spencer Wilden.
So he was there. He was like our local cinema, and it was the big thing. Actual Darth Vader. It's quite silly, isn't it? I just thought that might be interesting for like the people listening in.
No, it's
fun
true.
Trivia.
Because it's for us because he's everywhere all the time. He was also, by the way, he was like the Wolfman when he was the Wolfman, not when he was Benicio del Toro.
He was a prisoner in Guardians of the Galaxy 1.
He's been loads of stuff, hasn't he? Game of Thrones.
He's like a monster actor.
Basically, every big...
If you need a big, stocky guy...
I think he's the first White Walker that you see... White
he's
Walker.
He's quite significant. Yeah, he's always like he's like his face. He's been like just sort of goons in leather jackets and stuff before as well, and so he does that kind of thing. But he's Darth Vader.
He's a professional goon, like
he is.
So he's always at these Star Wars things. So you know he's going to be in this one, right?
That's the kind of stock that we produce in North Wales. It's
goons.
Yeah, but it's I think the trailer for this one, which is called
Rise of the Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, so that's confusing because Luke Skywalker died in the last film, right? So Rey,
Carrie Fisher died.
Sort of parentage is like a mystery, but she's magically got these fucking force powers. Is she gonna be a Skywalker? Because Kylo Ren is like
Kylo Ren is a Skywalker.
Is his name Ben Solo?
Yeah.
Ben, because
he's the son of.
I didn't know if it was Ren Solo, and I'd stupidly anglicised it like a knob.
No, because Harrison Ford goes Ben.
That's what I mean.
Do you not remember that?
What did I do? Send you the GIF for the one film. Anyway, so I didn't know if imagine you wouldn't have let me live it down if I accidentally called him Kylo Ben. Do you get me? Yeah. So I just need to make sure. Yeah. So Kylo Ren, Ben Solo. Same guy. His mum is like fucking...
What a boxer name. Kylo Ren, Ben Solo.
Yeah. So his mum is Princess Leia.
Yeah.
She's a Skywalker.
She is.
So Rise of Skywalker, Kylo Ren.
Could refer to Kylo Ren.
Or it could be Rey. Which then means that like Kylo Ren and Rey are cousins or brother and sister, which means that they've got that weird shining thing, haven't they, in the last film where they like see each other. That was quite an interesting scene, like when they were in the same room, it was a little bit The Shining.
Yeah.
So like are they telekinetically connected because they're both Skywalkers? Is that the Force sort of making time and space move for them?
It would be very interesting if it was like, because so Darth Vader, Anakin was like just he was a Jesus baby born of so his mum was he had no dad, so
right. The Force impregnated.
Born of the Force, exactly. Yeah. So he's so it'd be interesting if Rey was like just a parallel lineage. Yeah, but maybe like from the same mother. Like she could be.
Yes.
She could trace back to Anakin rather than.
Yeah.
Luke or whatever. Instead of being like Luke's kid, she could be like her grandmother could be Anakin's sister or something like that. And she could, because she's just meant to be like some sort of straggler, and they make this big thing about her being no one. But that could be the case. She could be like born from slaves and all that sort of stuff.
It'll be interesting.
Turn out to be just like Anakin sort of thing, and just...
I hope so. I think it would be a bit mad if it's like Kylo Ren and Rey are brother and sister, and they have this like quarrel all the way through the last two films, and then they team up to fight apparently the Emperor, who is just laughing in the trailer.
I think...
where's he been? He died, right? How did he die? I haven't seen it.
He got thrown into a reactor.
You've not seen it?
No, I haven't.
You've not seen Return of
Jedi?
Jedi?
What happens
I've seen one of the original, and
Right.
it was the number 4/number 1.
Right. So what happens is, right, Return of the Jedi splits
Are we
into
starting
three
at
scenes.
number 1 now?
Okay. So there's a big old jungle battle, right? Because they want to destroy the shield around the Death Star.
Yep, seen
There's
that
a big old
scene.
space battle outside the Death Star because they want to take the Death Star. Obviously, it's a big Death Star, so
Yeah.
you would want to do that. And then we got Luke and Darth Vader
Vader
in the
face
throne
off.
room in the Death Star.
Yeah,
right?
I've seen that as well.
Fucking
Yeah.
perfect cinema, right? So then Luke and Darth Vader are having a scrap.
Yeah.
Luke has sort of handed himself in because he thinks he can
Handed.
turn Darth Vader to the light side.
Okay.
And
He's
then,
got one hand, doesn't he?
Yes,
So that's good,
Vader,
isn't it?
Vader cut off his
Okay,
other
go
arm.
on, yeah.
so he thinks he can turn Darth Vader back to the light side, sort of thing. But then he doesn't count on the old Emperor, and then
He's goading him on.
good and all that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
and then
yeah. I've seen the memes.
so
Sad
then-
that, isn't it? I know it's horrible, but it's true.
So then Luke wins, batters his dad. His dad's like, "Argh!"
Yeah, mask off at this point.
No, mask on,
okay.
right? But I think his hand's been chopped off, so Luke's chopped his hand off this time. A bit of revenge.
Which he already had chopped off by Obi-Wan ages
Yeah,
ago.
so it's like a robot hand. He's not going to miss it.
Yeah, not good hand family, are they?
No.
So then Emperor is again good like this,
Yeah,
right?
And
And
he's
then-
trying to turn Luke to the dark
yeah,
side.
Luke's like, nah, fuck
He's
this.
just sitting in the background and just
Yeah,
constantly.
he's
Yeah,
just
he's
sitting-
watching it.
He's just sitting in his
What?
chair.
It's like some no.
Voyeur.
Yeah, but it's that's a very Emperor-like behaviour. If you
Yeah,
ask me.
true that. Yeah.
He
watching
doesn't need,
gladiators
he doesn't need to
fighting.
go exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are his puppets, right?
Yeah.
Bit of entertainment. So then Luke throws his lightsaber. He's like, no, I'm gonna turn to the dark side. Emperor's like, well, fuck you then. Lightning, right?
Yeah.
Luke's dying, right? Darth Vader's like, oh fucking hell, thank God, getting back up, holding his hand. He's been battered.
Yeah. Holding his own hand.
And then humanity, for the first time in 3 films, he's watching his son getting electrocuted, and he's like, fuck.
You can almost see the tear roll down the mask.
And Luke's like, come on, Dad.
Yeah.
Please help me out here, mate.
Yeah.
And so he does. So he picks up Emperor.
So Darth Vader
Darth
kills the Emperor.
Vader is still the chosen one. Anakin's the chosen one. And they say in the prequels, Darth Vader's going to be the one that brings light to the whatever.
Yeah.
Balance to the Force and all that. Obi-Wan Kenobi is going, you are the chosen one. Well, he still is, because he's the one who kills the Emperor. Because he picks.
Oh, I didn't know that he kills
So
the
it's
Emperor.
actually Darth Vader's story. There's a lot of depth to this.
That's quite clever.
So he picks up the thing, throws him down, and he explodes.
He does.
Right.
He literally
They
does.
throw him down, and there's
The Force explosion.
there's a big old blue explosion. So he's definitely dead.
Okay.
This is at the same time they blow up the reactor.
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
Death Star
yeah. So not
at the
only is
same
he,
time.
not only is he thrown down this shaft,
Yeah.
which is in his office for some reason, right? They then blow up the Death
Well,
Star.
to be fair, it was unfinished.
So he's like
Yeah,
doubly exploded.
He's doubly exploded.
Double explosion.
And the second explosion is a fucking explosion and a half,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's gone. That
I've
Death
seen
Star
Death
is gone.
Star's big, isn't it?
Imagine
Yeah.
a planet blowing up.
That's what
Happens.
happens.
Yeah.
And he's in the middle.
Yeah.
And he's in the
Right.
middle.
Killed
of all
by Lando and Wedge.
Yeah,
right. The two subtle undercurrent heroes who are doing all the graft by doing the space fighting.
Yeah,
because they blow up. They do and then they fly out. Lando's like, whoa, like this, right? He comes out of the Death Star blows up. So the Emperor is definitely dead. So this has got to be some sort of Voldemort sort of
Sauron.
Did you hear the tale of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
Yeah,
right. So like
it's a Star Wars reference, Liam.
Yeah, no, I've seen the meme again. So this is like weird because this is when Star Wars got a bit confusing for me in the last one. So like in the Last Jedi, Luke Skywalker appears as like a ghost, like a Force ghost. And from what I read on, I think it was on Twitter actually, that like so they reckon that the Emperor must be because I think in. What's the like cartoon Star Wars, like the good one, like is it
Rebels?
There was Clone Wars before that as well.
Well, one of them two, I think the Emperor is in it as like a Force ghost, and he possesses someone. So like he's like Sauron, like he's just like he hasn't got like a physical form, but he's still apparent. He's got like a manifestation that's like a black shroud or something like that.
Yeah.
So it could be that. And there's this whole other guy like Snoke, right? He's
Well, this is that's where because now and Snoke's dead. Dies in that fucking amazing like throne room lightsaber scene.
That's like a fucking Nicholas Winding Refn scene.
Okay.
It's a good cinematography.
I actually thought it was good.
Yeah.
No, it's just a stun of that. He does get got.
There's this whole thing about him being a clone of the Emperor, right?
The theory at the minute is that Snoke was like just a mere puppet for the Emperor. Like
makes sense.
Like right? Pinocchio, but not but controlled.
So he looks, because he looks like
a vessel.
There's like there's this race in Star Wars that they clone the soldiers in the prequels.
The
Camino, and
the planet is called Camino.
Yeah, the planet. Yeah, and then they're like Caminoans or whatever, but they're very tall and they look like Snoke, right? Mm-hmm. So. I always thought that maybe he was like because he looks like a clone gone wrong or something almost, or like he's.
This is it. So this is it,
and that's where the stormtroopers come from.
So Darth Plagueis the Wise was like, is that Darth Sidious who's the Emperor? Is like master or something?
That was his master,
and he was trying to learn the power of undeath. Like,
he learned how to cheat death, and resurrect himself.
So if the fucking Padawan of this guy Plagueis, who we haven't seen, I guess. Is like going to be watching and observing that, like some sort of Jung and Freud thing. Surely he's taking notes, isn't it? So it's going to go that way. Do you know what I mean?
What are you doing there, mate?
Hides in his robes. So it's just, thanks for pointing. Like I'm glad that we've got this on video. We can call this like fucking Mike and Liam explain Star Wars to Jake.
I mean, there's a lot to unpack.
There really is. So I might watch more. Is it going to be a big event though? And I think this is just the start of. We knew coming into
this year. It's got like loads of weird event type media stuff.
Yeah. Hey, so yesterday I went out with my dad, right, and he was laughing in my face, right? Because when I was younger, I used to go to concerts all the time, and I used to say, "Dad, this band hardly ever play," and he used to say, "You say that about every fucking band." Right?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I've definitely heard you say that like 15 times.
True. And I say it with boxers, don't I? Yeah, but I mean, but it's true though, right? It is true. So like with these films, I'm saying this film's going to be the biggest film of the year.
Yeah.
And it is. But so Avengers is going to be the biggest film of the year, yeah?
Oh, that's going to be an interesting comparison, actually. I don't know when Star Wars is out.
Star Wars. But then there's Lion King.
Disney wins.
Yeah, Frozen 2. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Toy Story 4.
It is monopoly territory, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
because they're all competing against themselves, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
So I fancy the Star Wars. We're all going to go and see it straight away.
Imagine they owned HBO. I mean, they got Game of Thrones as well. And
Yeah, they have everything. And so
I think Warner Bros. owns HBO
yes,
now.
it is Warner. Yeah. So do you know this? I'm going to see it straight away because Sean's a big Star Wars fan, and like I'm always really conscious that it's going to get spoiled for her. Like we watch RuPaul's Drag Race, and I get spoiled for her every day.
Right.
Because she checks Twitter as soon as she wakes up, and she follows like loads of the famous drag queens from the last few seasons, and they always tweet their support.
They're reacting and stuff.
So we don't watch it till she finishes work at 5, and by 9 in the morning she's spoiled it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we haven't even fucking talked about the biggest fucking TV show of all time coming back tomorrow, Game of fucking Thrones. I am on lockdown. Like I am so I don't check. Like it's the hardest week for me. Like I can't check Twitter because even someone saying like, "Oh my God, Tyrion," it makes you think. I'm watching it, scanning what's going to happen.
What's going to happen to Tyrion? Yeah.
And
why are you so angry with that?
Because I'm like, come on. It frustrates me that I know it because of them.
Yeah.
They've ruined my timing of it.
Yeah.
So even though I'm not bothered about Star Wars, I'm always conscious that people might feel like that. So I want to take Sean straight away. We're seeing Avengers. Me and Liam actually going to the same showing of Avengers because I wanted to take Sean early. Hey, Avengers, right? And I'm sure loads of people listening, you've bought tickets. Have you guys realized it's fucking 3 hours and a bit long?
Oh, what?
And so me and Liam, our showing's at 8:20. There's half an hour of trailers, which means it starts at 10 to 9. It's 3 hours and 15 minutes. So the film will finish at midnight. We'll get home at about 1:45. So
are you going to Broughton?
Yeah. Oh, you see it in IMAX.
Yeah. So we leave the house at 8 o'clock, go and see Avengers, come back at 1 in the morning. Fucking hell. Mad, that, innit?
I'll be so.
I hope it's good, man. Imagine it's shit. Imagine like 2 hours in, you're like, this is not good. Do you know what I
mean? There's a 50-50 chance it could be like that. Yeah. Like I watched like the last one, so there's like Thanos, and there's loads of Thanos being sad and like looking at the water and that. Yeah. And I thought this could be shit, but it's not. It runs out nicely.
I think it'll have a big old fucking Lord of the Rings quadruple ending where where the film will end.
Oh yeah.
Like after 2 hours and a quarter.
The main arc will be resolved.
Then there'll be like a 15-minute Tony Stark fucking epilogue. Yeah. Then there'll be an epilogue with Cap, who's gone back in time.
Guardians, whatever the next generation of Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be.
But then the big question, you know what would be a real statement? I'd love it if they did this, right? No post-credit scene. Don't do it. Imagine if they just ended it there.
I could see them doing that.
Because you know what I mean? Because there's always the next. But this is just the end. Imagine.
I think that would be a tasteful way of doing it. Because imagine if you sat through that and then it's like, this is just the beginning. And then Nick Fury's like fucking hell.
On his phone.
It's a series.
He's got his phone out.
It's like,
fuck
this. And then it cuts before he can finish swearing. And it's like...
They already did that one.
I know, but this is just the little... that's the little trick,
yeah, honestly, because right, when it's finished, we're all going to be sitting there watching the trailer, watching the credits, sorry. Imagine if at the end, the screen just went black. Everyone's like...
Just says,
and then they're like,
go home.
Yeah, the lights just came on. That would be so good, man.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's anyone out there that just actively doesn't like the Avengers.
Oh, yeah, I think people...
Do you reckon?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely,
sure.
yeah.
I'm going in there thinking...
I'm
watching it and it doesn't sway me at all, but it's good.
Half of my Twitter thing is like cynical takes on like I can't be asked for superhero films.
There are some people who like purposely go out of their way to be like contrarian about it as well.
This is what I mean. So I don't like superhero films, but I watched them and they're like good.
I'm the same.
Oh my god, great! Yeah. But you can't be cynical about it because it's just good.
Yeah.
Like the pacing's good. The way that they tell the story's nice. The effects are like breathtaking every time. They seem to step it up every single time. You can't watch it and go, this is shit.
I'm the same as you, and there's two things that I'm always well aware of when I'm watching them and stuff, right? And one of them is this is perpetually ramping up to something else. So every time, everything you're watching, there's always something bigger on the horizon, right?
Yeah.
So that's always one thing I know, and then the second one is the creep of the music, because there's all the trailers are always like more high stakes. I don't know how you can do a bomb any more dramatic than they can.
Bomb, bomb.
Yeah, exactly. But it's always like the most dramatic music you've ever heard. But I still enjoy it when I'm watching it. I still like it, and that's a good trailer. The last Avengers trailer.
Maximalism. That's
what it is. It really is. And
then can't get any more of any more. That's what it is.
But that sort of Marvel. I said this to you the other day. But when like the Avengers or the Marvel logo pans in and they play that fucking deafening like da 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 da, like it's like
yeah. But they're ramping it up every time.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know how it's gonna have to be. They're gonna have to for this next one. They can't do that. They've got to do like a. Yeah.
Give it dynamic, right? So
and the font's got to be like this big. It's got to be like a tiny font on an IMAX screen, and it's got to just say Avengers.
Comic Sans.
We won't have another Avengers film for a while after this.
No.
I'd be happy if they never did another one because it would be people talk about it famously.
They will do more Avengers films, and they'll keep them for like the big event type ones.
Yeah, I guess. I think what's interesting is I haven't seen half of the Marvel films. Honestly, I've not. I've not seen Ant-Man. I've not seen fucking any of the Thors apart from the new one. I've seen one of the Captain Americas. I think I've seen one Iron Man. Thought it was shit. But I'm still like, I want to see how it ends. So I can't imagine what it's like for people that have watched all fucking 900 of them and read the comic books. Like Liam, I can't imagine how excited this motherfucker is. Well, I can actually. It's about as excited as I am to watch the end of Game of Thrones.
But they've called it Endgame, so they have to. It has to end in some sense.
It's following a very traditional comic arc where they'll do loads of building up to a massive like event. And then after this event, they just do like a soft reset type thing.
Yeah, I'll see you next week at WWE SummerSlam. And you're like, but this is the big fight. No, it doesn't matter. They're always promising the SummerSlam.
Comics where they've killed off characters only to bring them back like half a year later in their own like new rebooted series.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. I heard that whatever they're planning next doesn't involve the X-Men and stuff. So like.
Yeah, for years, right?
Gen.
So that's not
exactly because they've already planned this at like 5 years. The next 5 years of this.
I think so. Yeah.
So fuck, man.
It'll you've got to, I think you've got to enjoy it while it lasts because nothing if you like comic books and stuff and whatever then this is your time sort of thing because nothing lasts forever. Like if you really like sci-fi westerns exactly. Yeah. Steven Spielberg said that a couple of years ago about superhero films that they feel like the western because every film's a superhero film now and even the ones that aren't sort of thing. There's still like
and it's like so of the era. Like now whenever you watch a western, it's pretty much always that. Era, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I wonder. I wonder if, like, on Channel 5 in, like, 2042, it'll be, like, the vintage movie Iron Man or something. It's going to be so weird. Like, it's of the time. But
I think it just has a locked-in audience of, like, every fucking kid in school will be going to watch this. Will every kid go and watch Star Wars? I don't know. But I think there'll be, they'll have... They have like a guaranteed like loyal audience who are almost like following the fucking soap opera sort of thing. Like they know they want to see it ended.
Exactly.
You haven't even been following it, and you want to see how it ends. So do I.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's going to be a big fucking box office, isn't it? It's
And you got plans to see it when it comes out straight away? Or you're not?
I'm going to go with my little brother actually, but I don't know. I'll go on the weekend. That week, so not necessarily.
So it's out next week, right? So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you've got go next week, or more or less. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not bothered if you see it spoiled away. That's the thing.
No,
I haven't even watched the fucking official trailer.
The last one I watched was the one that started like the black and white montage of all the older films.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. I haven't watched the new one they put out when tickets went live.
Right.
So that's this other one's a lot more substantial. So you're doing right to know.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the spoilers are going to be, people are going to rush to watch it for the first like 2 days, aren't they? There's going to be like a massive fucking day one spike on this.
I've already started taking headphones and listening to music in the lobby.
I'll be trying to talk to him and he'll be like fucking whipping me with a big massive jelly snake. Like, fuck off!
That does sound like Liam. Yeah,
just like he's some sort of feral ghoul kind of character. I don't know, man. There's been loads of trailers popping off lately. Like Lion King's interesting. It's always an interesting conversation with Lion King because it's like it's quite an unnecessary one. I find this one like
what the film.
Yeah,
I feel like there's already been about 7 fucking reboots of it.
They've done Dumbo.
Yeah, so Dumbo's out already.
Dumbo's been out, yeah. That was the most recent one.
Jungle Book's been done 9 times.
Jungle Book, they did. That was I quite like the Jungle Book one though.
Which one?
The Jon Favreau one.
The live action one, yeah, the one they just did because he's doing Lion King as well.
So this is weird because I've got Ellie who's 7, but when Jungle Book came out she was like 5 and. So the art style of Jungle Book is really drab, the original one. Mm-hmm. Like, what I mean is, because it's all hand-drawn, like, the background, there's bits, like, there's one very specific bit where they meet, like, the elephant troop, and the elephants are talking, and the background is completely grey. So they have it so, like, it's Mowgli's point of view looking up at the elephant, who the elephant's obviously, like, taller, so it's just elephant on the grey sky. But because of that, and, like, the limited animation, it's dull to watch. Like the colours and everything's so samey, the backgrounds are so reused, whereas like little things like Beauty and the Beast, like there's butterflies going past, it's quite hard to explain what I mean, but the way the storytelling doesn't keep children's attention. It doesn't. I mean, first hand seen it, like with I remember watching The Jungle Book, felt it was a bit
the movie The Jungle Book,
the original cartoon The Jungle Book, the original
I used to watch that
1940s and whatever, yeah. But, I mean, now, because we've got this sort of, like, everything's flashy, 3D animated, and there's movement everywhere, constantly. Everything's drawing your eye. It's kind of been written with these bullet point beats. Whereas...
I suppose if you compare it with, like, maybe Snow White or something like that, where Snow White is always moving. Like, there's always, stuff. There's, like, clutter on the animation. Like.
And it's quite long, comparatively, So... This remake, I guess you could argue, was needed. And on top of that, Jungle Book is like, I think it was like, is it 1967 or something like that? I want to say. It's about 50 years old, the animated Jungle Book. Whereas The Lion King was like, what, 94, 93?
Yeah, it's pretty recent, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And, I mean, well, it's so recent that all of the actors are still alive, for one. I mean, James Earl Jones is obviously fucking returning as Mufasa in it. So I don't know if it's necessary to remake something so soon. 20 years. It's not a video game, mate. What are you fucking doing?
Yeah.
I'm well up for it. I find it quite weird that a lot of the lions look kind of the same. What I mean is Scar is very camp in the original, and he's got...
Well, it's theatrical, isn't he?
Campy, you know what I mean? Yeah. But he's got that, and again, like kind of like how, what's his name? Shere Khan in the original. He has that like very like bad guy British accent. Mm-hmm. Whereas this, he's just like the most straight down the middle fucking runaway Simba. Same with... Like they made Jafar a wimp in the new Aladdin, and they've made Scar just like some fucking dude. Like he's not even Idris Elba, who compared to the old Shere Khan is just some fucking dude.
Yeah.
This Scar's just like some fucking
dude. You've said it.
Fucking dude, man. You know what I mean? Whereas the old Scar, like how he walked and the Be Prepared song and all that, like it was theatrical, like you're saying, it was over the top, campy, sinister, but like in a gentlemanly way. This is literally some fucking dude. This is like some council estate lion. Like fucking go away.
You could say he's a goon.
He's a goon, man. Spencer Wilding as a lion. He's just some fucking goon.
Spencer Wilding's a nice man.
Yeah, I know, but I mean a professional goon. Like we've established. He probably could have done mocap for the lion, innit? But the thing is, yeah. Well, we would probably have known better. I find it a bit boring that they've done that. And also, little silly things that I like about the animation, like Ed the hyena's tongue's hanging out of his mouth, and Zazu's a little bit. Ooh. Whereas even though he's John Oliver in the new film, he seems very like matter of fact.
Yeah.
The trailer is also, by the way, designed for people who have seen the film. Right? Have you seen the trailer for the new Lion King?
Yeah, but
it's the film. It's the fucking film. You see Mufasa get got. You see the stampede. You see the run away and never come back. Yeah. You see the fucking the montage when he grows up. The only thing, you even see him coming back to Pride Rock or whatever the fuck it's called. Mm. The only thing you don't see is Mufasa in the stars. And that's going to be the big event of the whole thing. Because I bet you it's going to look amazing. Yeah. Other than that, you see the whole film.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I'll watch it, but...
none of these have really been that inspired to me. Like, all these, like, fucking Disney reboots and stuff of beloved classics sort of thing.
So we've got Aladdin also coming out this year, and then Mulan is currently in the works. Mm-hmm. So Mulan's a bit of a tricky one because I think China has something to do with it. I know it sounds like Donald Trump. Yeah, that China. Yeah. No, but they're really working with it. Like they want like Chinese lead actors and stuff like that. Whereas it's not as much of an issue.
They've already cast a lot of them.
And I think it was quite a serious issue to make sure that they were of Chinese heritage. Whereas the
lead actress is Chinese.
Yeah, whereas like Aladdin, like Princess Jasmine, she's British in this new film, for example. So that's not as much as a sticking point. But with Mulan, I think it's because like China's got different laws when it comes to film releases. So we know, like obviously you must have read that Doctor Strange wouldn't have got played in China because
of all the mysticism.
Well, they had to cast Tilda Swinton as the Tibetan monk because if there was a real Tibetan monk portrayed, they wouldn't have played it in China, and the market is so big. So Disney and China have got a very weird relationship. It's quite interesting to read into. But with Mulan, because it's like I think it's based on like a real legend. Mm-hmm. They're working hard to keep it kind of like true to what the tale of events has been in sort of more traditional Chinese law. Yeah. So that's coming out as well, and I think that'll be the most interesting one to watch probably. Aladdin, I'm not so fussed about. And Beauty and the Beast, did you guys watch that?
Yeah, I saw Cinderella.
Oh, okay.
Which Beauty and the Beast? The new one?
The most recent. It's got Emma Watson
and Dan Stevens. Yeah, I've not seen it.
It is alright. It had an extra song in it that they cut from the film, which was good. It's a good song.
Oh, doesn't it have Luke Evans in it?
He plays Gaston. Yeah, he plays Gaston, and the guy who plays Olaf from Frozen is his sidekick. What's his? I can't remember his name. But yeah, so I don't know. I've not been that fussed. The Jungle Book looked amazing in the cinema. Like
I'm sure they do look good. Yeah,
like really good.
I just don't know. I just don't get any sort of emotional thing with it somehow. I don't know what.
It's not Studio Ghibli, isn't it? I mean, it must be a Studio Ghibli boy at heart. You've seen one of them.
No, because I really like the hand drawn animated Disney films and stuff. Like I really like them again because I used to watch them loads when I was a little kid. So they still work for me. Like I'd watch any of them now. I'd watch Aladdin again now and enjoy it probably.
Yeah, it's a shame that they're not bringing that 2D back. Like again, Studio Ghibli. They do it constantly. They keep that 2D art alive. But who's doing 2D films now? What's the last one you saw? Red Turtles, Studio Ghibli. There we go.
Yeah, just Japan, pretty much.
The last 2D Disney film was The Princess and the Frog.
Yeah,
and that's 2002.
I tell you what,
I thought it was like 2007. That one.
Well, they're even better. I'm sure. I thought it was earlier, but
I'm not sure.
In a way, I kind of hope I hope that's right, because that shows that it was only like 12 years ago they were still doing 2D.
Yeah.
But like, I think it's a stylistic choice, like how video games have got like that 2D art style. Yeah. I think it works. I think it ages better, to be honest.
I suppose they have to think a lot about the kid, like you were saying about Jungle Book not working with kids so much, but they probably have to, that's got to be their prevailing thought, isn't it? Because that's the key market. So if the kids aren't going to watch it, then
if you watch cartoons just on normal TV, most of them are all 3D CGI now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
and they look fucking gash, a lot of them as well. They look really bad.
Yeah. I mean, Peppa Pig's 2D and Hey Duggee, and that's about it, isn't it? Shouldn't we?
Yeah, but Peppa Pig's, man, it's world conquering, flipping.
Yeah.
Have you seen this news article about the British accents?
People complaining their kids have British accents.
Oh yeah. It's like it's become like a thing. It was like the equivalent of like Good Morning Britain, but in America. I think it's called like The View or something. You know, the one.
Oh, that's like their.
I think there is
Loose Women.
Good Morning America, isn't there? There is a.
Oh yeah,
that's where they got it from. There is Good Morning America. Yeah.
Well, on one of these shows anyway, they were talking about it as well. So it wasn't just like a Reddit post. It's like, Peppa Pig's on like Morning in America, which I find weird because a lot of stuff that we watched as kids was American exports or French exports.
Yeah,
like
fucking hell. No, but people, it's completely dominated. Like, I mean, the British people say Americanisms all the time.
Yeah. So exactly, because we grew up like idolizing American culture, but like Peppa Pig is like giving the American kids British accents because they watch 2 hours or 1 hour a day and they're saying bath time and shit like that. So it's quite interesting, man.
Yeah, that's funny.
All these kids, like Peppa Pig is a bit of a mad thing, man. It's such a weird.
Yeah, are we going to do that as well? We're going to do.
Did you hear what happened with the Peppa Pig movie in America? They ended up showing horror movie trailers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Traumatizing some children.
It was Pet Sematary or something.
Pet Sematary, Ma, which is about a nanny who kills children.
Yeah.
And Brightburn, which is about a superhero child who becomes a murderer.
Come on.
And they showed it before Peppa Pig.
Goals, that Brightburn. I'd be like, because Peppa Pig's a bit of a knob actually, so
right.
Not a good role model.
Not Peppa. Brightburn is like Superman origin story, but what if he was evil instead?
I can get behind that. Rise of the fucking Superman.
Yeah, that's more interesting than Superman.
I think it's being produced by James Gunn.
Oh,
it's
right.
It's like written by his brother or something like that.
Okay.
And directed by one of his childhood friends or something.
Oh, nice.
So he's producing it.
Oh,
it's like what if Superman was evil as a kid?
That name's reminded me. I watched Sunshine, the Danny Boyle sci-fi film. Fucking shit name for a film, that.
Great soundtrack. I'm not so fond of the film.
The what?
I can't remember.
Clint Mansell did the Sunshine soundtrack.
I don't know.
The soundtrack's incredible. The film, I'm not really into.
I reckon the soundtrack's got one strong piece in it that he uses.
John Murphy,
he uses like 2 or 3 times, and that has been used so much in fucking BFI and trailers and shit like that. And
I can't remember what I know the one you mean as well, but I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, it's just a big.
I can hear it in my head.
It's a big interstellar end of the world.
It's by John Murphy and Underworld. Like the trance.
Oh right. Yeah.
By the way, I'll say like a recommendation for anyone listening that hasn't seen it yet. I'll tell you, because me and Liam are watching it. I think you've seen season 1. Barry, you watched that on HBO.
Yeah.
Season 2 is
excellent,
fucking great.
So good.
I really liked it if it would have just ended at season 1. It ends perfectly, I think.
Well, I'm gonna have to carefully select. I've got like a free pass for Now TV for like a month, so I'm gonna have to carefully time it so I can get as much Game of Thrones in as possible.
Yeah, Game of Thrones is awkwardly like a 6-month run time, and like your Now TV subscription.
Well, if you wait till Game of Thrones, there's already been 2 episodes of Barry on, so you can watch them as well.
So I'll get that in.
When the clock strikes midnight tonight, you should activate it.
Renew your activate your pass, then you get Game of Thrones.
Oh well, no, I'm gonna have to wait. How many episodes are there of Game of Thrones? 8.
6.
There's only 6.
Yeah, like feature length.
What is it like 50 minutes, an hour, and then the last 3 are like an hour and a half each?
Yeah.
Well, if I wait for the first 2, then claim it, then I got 4 weeks to take in the.
You're gonna wait 2 weeks to watch the first episode.
Oh yeah.
God.
I can wait forever because I don't like Game of Thrones.
I've got to wait 11 hours and 45 minutes and it's pushing me. I couldn't wait that long, It's a life stealer, Because I've been there since day one, like since.
So have I.
But yeah, I guess. But you don't like it as much as me, and it's as simple as that, I think. Because
so you've answered your own question.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about Game of Thrones? Because that's the holy.
Not with you two. What's the point?
That's the holy
you don't
trinity.
Like it, and you're like, I'll wait 2 weeks.
Listen to how
What's the point?
Listen.
It's like you talking to me about Star Wars. We wasted 20 minutes on that. I bet you're thinking. What the
listen to how like stereotypical we are as a podcast now. We've done 20 minutes on Star Wars. We've done the Avengers. Yeah. And we've got Game of Thrones. That is the triple threat. We're missing The Walking Dead.
Yeah,
Walking Dead can stay missing.
Do you know what then? Yeah, out of A, respect for me, B, respect for you.
No, I do like Game of Thrones,
and D, respect for you at home. Let's not become that cliche and do all three.
So we'll only do Star Wars and the Avengers.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Come on, there's like another 8 or 9 minutes.
Okay, all right then.
So, Game of Thrones. What's your feeling about the? How do you think it's gonna like sort of pan out? And do you think it's gonna be? I think it's gonna be pretty fucking apocalyptic. Obviously, spoilers for Game of Thrones ahead. If we spoil anything, if we spoiled anything that happens in Game of Thrones, that's your own damn fault, right? It's been out for.
We're off season.
Yeah,
like we're as far off season as you can physically get.
So
before being back on season.
So don't be telling us, you spoiled this thing that happened in season 3.
Where the fuck have you been for 10 years?
Yeah, yeah. So do you? Because I think it's going to be quite apocalyptic. I'll
be disappointed if it's a happy ending.
I don't know if it'll be utterly miserable, but I
hope it is.
So do I.
Yeah. The Sopranos. I hope they divide 50% of the audience on the last episode.
You hope they cut to black mid-scene.
I'd love it. I'd love it if they challenged people at the very end and thought, "Fuck off."
I want it to be as like
be bold.
Do it.
I want to be as like fucking devastated as the Red Wedding, and you know where
Sean Bean's head off.
And I want to feel like fuck, everyone's dying. Shit, everyone has died.
This is the
end.
Well, you know what?
That's what I want to happen. The thing
about Game of Thrones, that people forget about, and it's the beauty of the show, is that it's that classic Marlowe from The Wire saying, innit? You want it to go one way and it's the other way. You don't want Sean Bean to die. He dies, mate. Get over it. It's not your story. You're just a passenger watching it. And that's the thing. Everyone's like so attached to it. It's their story. They love their Tyrion. I hope he gets his head cut off in the first 2 episodes. I want it to be suffering because I want it to. It doesn't try and glorify what it does. It reminds you.
But it has done for a couple of years.
That's what I mean, and it needs to end miserably.
Remember where it came
Life
from.
is pain.
Yeah, the amount of stuff I've read, like with George R. R. Martin saying things like, the inspiration for going down that route and stuff was the fact that that's a better reflection of what life is like for people. It isn't like, Lord of the Rings is like my favorite thing ever, but it's is sort of sentimental in some way. Like you just
the goodies and the baddies.
Yeah,
right?
and that that's why I fucking love it. But that's not what Game of Thrones is, and that's kind of where it's gone. When Jon Snow comes back,
this is what
when Sansa saves Jon Snow in that battle, because when if Jon Snow dies in that battle you know what I'm talking about, Battle of the Bastards or whatever, that is the most horrifying battle scene I have ever seen. Yeah. If Jon Snow dies at the end of that, fucking unbelievable,
exactly.
right? But he doesn't, does he? He gets saved by the Riders of Rohan show up or something, and they save him. That's so it's been doing stuff like that for a couple of years.
Yeah, and that's what Telly does. But Game of Thrones wasn't doing things that Telly was doing, right? Like you said, this is what put it on the map. Mm-hmm. It was like pushing boundaries. It was, and it did that HBO thing, where it lured everyone in with a bit of tits, right? Remember, because it was,
and then it pushed a kid out of a window.
Yes, it gave you tits, but it gave you incestuous tits, and then a kid death. What a fucking opener!
No. It's not even a kid. It's a kid.
Oh, it's just a cripple.
He's crippled.
Yeah,
he's still crippled.
He's wishing he was dead.
Yeah,
exactly. So the thing is,
but you don't get that anymore.
That's what. Yeah, not enough incest and kids crippled. No, what it is like no one. I love high fantasy. Yeah, I fucking love wizards. Everything like that. Give me all high fantasy, and it's silly and Lord of the Rings as we want, where there's pure good in the world. I like it. I like the fantasy of it. But I also like Game of Thrones because, in a way, it was like the sort of anti one. It managed to do it without being a bit edgy. But then I felt like as we've strayed further away from the light of George R. R. Martin, and we've gone into like a sort of, really well written fan fiction, it has gotten a bit edgy with like, I don't know, what they were doing with what's his name, Ramsay Snow.
Yeah. Good actor, but he
was a bit edgy, It's a bit, and it's like, I don't know. It's weird, and I just hope it ends in a way, Because that's the thing. How is a show so divisive that they cut the main good guy, like the best character in the fucking thing, for like pure good, lawful good?
Yeah.
Gets his head cut off. How are we gonna make everyone, get together at the end and all celebrate it? No, we want to leave like a sour taste in people's mouths. No, this is about like the horrors of like the medieval world mixed with the just think about where the story is at the moment. It's a bunch of survivors trapped between an oppressive regime run by a mad queen with a bunch of mercenaries and the literal fucking undead. How's that going to end happily? It needs to end in just, ugh. It ends, I want it to end like that. And I think I'm going to get
it. I think they'll have to. I think what they might do is sort of front load it, especially if it's only 6 episodes. Sort of front load it with some devastation. So in the first episode, big face off or something. First or second episode, big sort of face off between the rebels and the whatever, and the rebels will get fucking annihilated, and we'll lose some people, and then it'll give you like a sliver of hope in the end that maybe they'll King's Landing will be like the last fucking bastion of whatever, but. I think there has to be a big like defeat, like early on.
I'll do a time jump type thing, like big battle in the middle, and then time jump ahead to where it's
possibly
like they're on the brink of annihilation.
Yeah, like a few months later. Like they've just rampaged through the fucking.
And like you're saying, King's Landing's like the last bastion of humanity.
Possibly. Yeah,
I think it'll end at Winterfell. More than King's Landing. I think that's going to crumble. I think it'll end up with a sandwich. Where South will come up to Winterfell, and it'll end there. I think. What's so hard?
Poetically, that would make more sense.
Yeah, if it doesn't end in the fucking Godwood, then. Yeah. But I don't know. Oh, by the way, just a little bit up to, I guess, more interesting for people into video games. Did you see this rumor? I think I was telling you guys about it. That George R. Martin has been working with Miyazaki from FromSoft, penning a new From Software game, which is an open world game set in the Western world where you go around different kingdoms. Killing bosses, and when you kill a boss, you get their powers. If that's true, right, that's nearly a good enough reason to not have finished this book. If you're working on a From Software game, George, I'll give you another fucking couple of years. Yeah. But don't take the piss any more than you already have, mate. How many years have you been working on that bad boy? 8 years. I don't want to see another picture of him drinking a cocktail when he's got shit to go.
Yeah.
I feel what it is. That's the thing. Everyone feels so entitled to their story and to have it their way. And Game of Thrones is famous for subverting what you want, and he just does it their way. And that's what it is. It's kind of like a relentless vision of one man.
So is it subversive then by giving you more romantic sort of positive stories? Because by this point, people are expecting it to be horrible, and it's not being so horrible anymore. Do you know what I mean?
That's the thing, Like I think Sean, she's of the belief that she sat through the misery because she thinks she's getting a happy ending.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people will be like that. These are all the setbacks these people have faced, but eventually life's gonna get good. But I want it to be. No. I want it to be.
That was like some kung fu master with a bamboo stick. No. Do you know what I mean? Just a firm smack on the forehead. Like, no.
Well, I don't know, man. So it could go either way. And the thing is, and it's awkward as someone who's read the books, isn't it? Because you know that the books are the only way the story's going to really end. And the characters.
Yeah, but the books haven't ended, have they? So this is.
And that's what I mean. So there's some people I know who have read the books and aren't watching the show on purpose because they don't want to go ahead the way that it's not been originally intended.
Yeah.
Because when he was writing the book in 1993, he wasn't thinking we'll end it with HBO. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely.
So, and there's loads of really big characters, like massively big characters that are in the book that are so important that aren't in the show at all.
But the positive of that is you sort of preserve value in the book then, because if you're just reading the book for to find out what happens, well, there's so many people that aren't in the TV show, you don't know what happens to them. You're still going to read it because you want to know
exactly,
and
that's the only way it can work. But apparently, when they were writing season 1, I can remember George R. Martin saying he's told them the beginning and he's told them the end, and the path's going to differ how they get there, right?
He told them the end being. Cemetery of whatever is that what you mean?
Well, because he's a big fat guy, right, and he's had bad health. One of the clauses when they signed.
He has. I see.
In case he died, he had to kind of tell them the brief outline of how it actually ended.
I thought you meant he's told the fans how it's going to end. Like,
oh, you're thinking of this Hodor thinking it, aren't you?
No.
He's laid it out there all along.
No. Well, no. Don't get me started on that.
He's had a behind closed doors meeting with the guys. Who
right? Okay.
So in case he died, genuinely, I know it's not because he's like in his 70s, right? And like I say, he's not got good health. So yeah, he's outlined the ending. So what is
it'd be so fucking baller if no one knew that. Do you know what I mean? How would you possibly end something that's like it's like Half-Life 3 again?
Imagine if he fucking he might have been lying to them, you know. But but that's the thing everyone kind of thought in season 1. It's going to end how the books are going to end. So that's the issue here that I've got. It's like it'll probably end the same unless they've changed it.
Well, didn't he? So the thing I was going to say then, when you were saying that he's told people what the end is, he's hasn't he said it's going to end on a cemetery. And it's just snowing, and it's so winter has come, and So in that sense,
in a sense that like we know Peaky Blinders is going to end with the start of World War II, but I think he's outlined the key characters, like what will happen with events, like arcs. Yeah.
Well, when I read that first, I was like, well, I take that like literally. I hope it sounds weird, but I hope that means not only is that the closing shot, but everyone is dead. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's
1,000 years later.
Yeah, fucking Night King wins, winter has come, the process starts anew, see you in 1,000 years, civilization sort of thing.
Yeah, a new sapling appears. Humanity starts.
Nah, fuck that. No, just death.
Yeah.
Leave
it was all on our planet all along or something like that. I don't know how it's going to end. I've got no idea, but I'm pretty good at guessing what's going to happen in the show. I guessed last season ahead of time, and I told you about this before. It's the stupidest thing to bring up, but I'll fucking do it.
Go on.
I wrote down my predictions in an envelope in our house and gave it to my missus, and then when it was, I didn't touch
for the season.
Yeah,
right.
And I was like to the point where I said Tommen's going to jump out of a window and kill himself. Spot on, like to the way he's going to die because of the foreshadowing he used the season before. Like it's kind of and knowing what I know from the book because that wasn't so far away from the book.
Well, unfortunately, this is a bit Darren Brown of like I predicted the lottery numbers. Here's what the lottery numbers were. I'm gonna have to see. I'm gonna have to see some photographs or something.
Sean's gonna call me out on my bullshit if any of this isn't bang on.
Okay.
Truth,
No.
you know
Okay.
what I mean? Yeah. So that's why I'm saying.
No, I believe you. I think you texted a few things like while one of the seasons was
but
on.
Also, I realised that but now Sean's sister was like pissed off at me. Because I told her what I think is going to happen.
Right.
And it happened, and she's like, well, you fucking ruined it. And I was like, but I didn't know. But she's like, yeah, but the fact that you were right has ruined it. Because I was thinking, Jake might
you've just said yourself how sensitive you are about spoilers. I bet you'd be annoyed if someone gave you an idea of something that happens.
No,
and then it happens.
Totally. I heard a really good theory about what's going to happen at Avengers Endgame, and I think I told you. And I was like, oh, fucking hell. It's to the point where it was so good. If it doesn't happen, it'll be shit.
It'll be shit.
But if it does happen, I've seen it coming.
All right. Well, that's the fucking holy trinity, the Triforce. We've done Star Wars, we've done Avengers,
sorry guys,
and we've done Game of Thrones. But at least we got it all out of the way in one podcast, and we'll never have to talk about that again
until Avengers is on.
And Game of Thrones is finished,
and Star Wars.
Yeah. This is the end of
No, that was me promising that we're never going to do it again.
Oh, what, the Trinity?
Yeah, of course we'll talk about this shit again. This is the kind of thing we're going to be doing. It's just not games and that, is it? But it doesn't. It might be games sometimes. I was actually going to talk about a couple of games, but I forgot.
Yeah, I've played loads of games, man, this week.
But we've got like a whole other podcast to do now, so and I'm fucking tired already. So we'll leave it there. Thanks for listening to the third Special Moves bonus podcast. We'll be back in a couple of weeks with another bonus one. Hopefully this one doesn't get lost and whatever. Enjoy it.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.